When I first started making overtures toward a focus on import gaming on this channel and soliciting ideas from my community, the first idea to come in was from HZChild, wanting to hear about my favorite games from my own import library. So big shout out to HZChild because I feel like I can get some real mileage out of this. I'll start by going over some PS2 games here. I'm Patrick and welcome back to Little Akiba Games. The King of Fighters 94 re-bout should not have been an import purchase at all. In fact, I had a pre-order at EB Games for the Xbox version before the North American release was cancelled. Thankfully, after I got my hands on a Japanese PS2 from PlayAsia years later, I made a point to add re-bout to my library, and I'm really glad I did. You see, the original version of the King of Fighters 94 was rough. The controls were horribly stiff, you were limited to selecting whole teams, the overall style of the game would look really outdated in very short order, and it wouldn't be until the following year's installment that the series would start making appearances outside of the Neo Geo. Re-bout addresses all of that, implementing the edit team feature that literally every other KOF title possesses, refreshing both the visuals and audio that updated the game nicely for the 21st century, smoothing out the controls to something that didn't quite feel like what was modern KOF at the time, but still slotted in nicely alongside it, and made it all available on PlayStation 2, which is a decidedly more mass-market accessible platform than Neo Geo. Honestly, if SNK could have followed through with the North American release of this game, I think it would have gotten some good buzz. I guess we'll never know though. If you like KOF and want to add a really nice old school experience to your library with fewer rough edges than the source material, there's a place for re-bout on your shelves. Sticking with the KOF series, we have the King of Fighters Maximum Impact Regulation A. The Maximum Impact spin-off was divisive to say the least, and many corners of the community still regard it as the unfortunate but inevitable result of a company hiring and empowering one of their own fanboys. Now, I for one like the idea of Maximum Impact. By no means was it a replacement for mainline KOF, but it's really not trying to be. It's unique in a lot of ways compared to what a lot of the fighting genre was doing at the time, took a lot of visual cues from 3D fighting franchises like Tekken and Dead or Alive, and had an all-around atmosphere reminiscent of some of the really experimental early Neo Geo fighting games, which, as someone who took part in the arcade fighting scene in those early years, I could appreciate. Regulation A refers to the 3-on-3 team battle format that defines the bulk of the mainline KOF series, which made its only Maximum Impact appearance in this game. It also made several additions to the roster that made the game very interesting. I'm always happy to see Blue Mary when she makes an appearance, and Makoto Mizoguchi from Fighter's History was a nice surprise in a series that had come to be full of those. Meanwhile, the gameplay itself hit a good stride for its third and final outing, which of course meant that it was the one game of the three that couldn't be brought to North America. Regulation A is by far the best Maximum Impact. If you like fascinating artifacts from that era, where developers were still trying to unpack 2D fighting games' place in an increasingly 3D gaming landscape, make sure you take the time to try this one out. Before Jun Taniguchi joined Turn 10 and became a major player in the Forza Motorsport series, he was a Sega employee and a major contributor to their arcade division, though not a household name as were colleagues Yu Suzuki, Toshihiro Nagoshi, and Tetsuya Mizuguchi. His final project with Sega was the Japanese exclusive PS2 title Sega Rally 2006, which on top of being infinitely better than the Sega Rally Revo that was released worldwide around the same time, featured much more recognizable handling for the series and included a career mode so deep that it takes a pretty good handle of written Japanese in order to navigate it. That shouldn't be a deterrent though, because 2006 features a really strong arcade mode that anyone can pick up and enjoy just as though it was a global release, and if you look around enough, you'll find yourself driving some rather familiar courses, really offering up a best of both worlds approach to a game that didn't get nearly enough exposure when it released. Better still, the game was actually a double pack with the original Sega Rally Championship, fully ported to the PS2, automatically making it the best home version of that game. Whether you prefer the old school look or like the updated approach, there's a lot of fun to be had for arcade racing fans in this package, making it truly two of the best arcade racing games on the PS2. A very interesting chapter in Taniguchi's career right before he moved on to Forza. One last item before I finish this video. Sega rarely goes wrong with the Thunder Force series, and in that light, it's a real shame that we've missed so many of them in North America over the years. Thunder Force 6 is an absolute gem for the PS2, and one that I personally theorize would have eventually been picked up by North American Thunder Force 5 publisher Working Designs had Sony Brass not screwed them over in the whole Mystical Ninja Goemon debacle, and effectively put them out of business. Thunder Force 6 is one of those shmups that you just can't play by ear. You're going to see a lot of the game over screen as you learn your way around each stage, and you can tell I'm pretty rusty at the game myself in this stock footage, so try not to hold that against me. To the same end, that makes it extremely rewarding when you get really good at the game and start blasting through levels to the point that you make it look genuinely easy. Definitely seek this one out if you're a fan of the genre. That's all for now. I hope you really enjoyed this initial glimpse at my import library. If you liked this video, then please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, as it really helps the channel. Click the notification bell to know right away when the next video goes up. I look forward to seeing you back here at Little Akiba Games next time.